Hi everybody, my name is John. Welcome back or welcome to my channel John Repeat, where I react to iconic music, artists, albums and other bits and pieces and put stuff on repeat. Today I'm going to be carrying on with my Who Is series, where I look into artists' careers retrospectively and ask the question who they are by exploring 6 of their tracks. I'm going to be doing my Who Is series on Charli XCX and I am so excited. So if you don't know who Charli XCX is, she's a British singer. She rose to prominence like within pop music, and then she's kind of like transitioned more into an avant-garde music and experimental sound, and like influenced by her time when she was in like the clubs and stuff. And now she's kind of rising to mainstream again. She's had like a really big year in 2024. She's literally been everywhere. So I'm so excited to explore her and her journey. She's one of my top artists on Spotify, so I absolutely love Charli, so I'm so excited to just listen. Also, I want to give a disclaimer, okay? In my videos, I am going to be chopping, changing, I'm going to be talking over the music, I'm going to be, editing parts of it out, partly for copyright, but also because I am a massive chatterbox. So if that annoys you, then baby, this video is not for you. But if you don't mind that and you want to listen to music with me and you want my authentic reactions, then stay tuned because this video is definitely for you. So without further ado, let's start. The first song I'm going to listen to is I Love It, Icona Pop and Charli. So that was released in 2012. Now, I know she's done previous work before then, in like 2008, but when I was doing my research, this was like one of the first singles that she was featured on, which charted, and it was really, really big. So that's why I'm focusing on this song. So without further ado, let's go. This gives me so much nostalgia. I love it. I actually do love it. And the reason is because this gives Brat energy, even before Brat was even a concept. So we have an introduction to her as this like party girl. She's like, I got this feeling on a summer day, crashed your car into the bridge, threw your shit into a bag, pushed it down the stairs. I don't care, I love it. It's like messy. And it's so ironic to me that like in her career, she had this in the beginning and she's gone 360. And has like embraced this side again, which is so cool. She's always been like the party girl, but this is really like part of her brand, and I don't necessarily think it was 100% fully realised because of the experimentation with lots of different things. But like it's gone full circle, which is so interesting to hear from the beginning. And that's so interesting because, yeah, I feel like her target audience is very, like, millennial. Like, I think Brat is, like, a very millennial album, in my opinion, so love that. I remember in 2012, you're from the 70s, but I'm a 90s bitch. That hit so hard. That was, like, crack to me when I was in 2012, like, honestly. And yeah, so you're on a different road, I'm in the Milky Way. You want me down on Earth, but I'm up in space. You're so damn hard to please. We gotta kill the switch. You're from the 70s, but I'm a 90s bitch. I love it. So it's like rebellious, rebelling against like maybe your parents, rebelling against like society. You know, like it shows like that she's on like a different road, like she's on a different path. She's like out there, she's experimental, and we see that later on in her career as well. Like she becomes a lot more experimental, and it's like that rebellious nature of like pushing the boundaries, which we're introduced to in this song. And this is a great summer song if you're like a teenager and you just kind of like fuck it, you know. So you can definitely see like why it was so popular at the time. Everybody loves a bit of escapism. Everybody loves like to just like escape their problems and like fight against rules, even if it's vicariously through somebody else. So I can see why this was so appealing. This always reminds me of that video where she was at like a German festival or something and she was singing this song and no one was singing. She was jumping up and down and she was like, I thought this song was big in Germany. What the fuck are you doing? I love it. So good, so good. Okay, so the next song I want to listen to is Stay Away, and this was from her 2013 album True Romance. So after doing a bit of research online, I think Stay Away is her debut single, like on her own. So it's got a lot of like indie references. It's like still quite experimental, and this was like still in like the fledgling stages of her artistry evolving. So yeah, next song, Stay Away. It's angsty. So I've never heard this song before, and this sounds very much of that time. It's interesting. She's got like the idea of like the choking on the throat with the words, breathing. It's very like sensory driven, and love so cold, just like an arrow piercing through my skin. I bleed. It's very dramatic, and I feel like from the instrumentation, it sounds very angsty, and I can definitely see that through the lyrics. One thing I love about Charlie is she always puts these really catchy hooks within the songs, and you can see that here, like "Stay Away," like it's very like catchy, and she's so good at doing that throughout her music. So I can definitely see how it's like evolved from here. This is so like indie, and you can really hear that kind of industrial vibe with like the instrumentation. And I really like it, and it definitely sounds of this Charlie era. Oh! Okay, so first of all, love how she says, I knew you were no angel, because I love I know Angel, like from her discography anyways. Um yeah, and she's like using a lot of biblical energy with like no angel, but God, what did I do? Remember the first time we met, stay away, why couldn't you stay away? I never needed anyone, but now that you're gone, stay away, won't you just stay away? Taking all my light and blocking out my vision. Bad little girl you have trapped in the prison. On my hands, on my knees, pulled on the chains. Okay, very dark imagery there. And like the way that she's talking is like the rapping. And then we see that later with like 360 and like the Brat era, and like throughout her career with that sort of rapping that she does with her British accent, which is just so cool. So it's just like interesting seeing like where all of this came from and how it's been evolved and where it's been fully realized, you know. So it's very like matter of fact as well. Like, you are the curse, I am the captive. It shows the power dynamic there. You throw away the cake, trapped in the prison. You took my light, walking on hands and knees. Very melodramatic. And when you are slighted by the person you love, when you are so hurt by the person you love, that's how it feels. Like, it feels, there's so much pain. I mean, in your brain, the receptors for emotional pain and physical pain are like the same thing. So, um, I can kind of understand like her perspective on this, definitely. So she's like independent before this guy came into her life, or this lover came into her life. I like that metaphor of saying that like the person was like electric blue, because like when I think of electric blue, I think of something that's like very bright, very dazzling, very beautiful to look at, and it gives you so much energy. It makes me think of electricity, and it's just like the chemistry there, but it's also very dangerous, because if something's electric blue, like it makes me think of like a blue flame that's so hot that can burn you and destroy you. So it's definitely fitting for this relationship. And you got the repetition of that stay away, because she wishes that he could, but she knows that she's drawn to him and she can't stop it. This is interesting. So, I climbed a wall to touch your shadow. I hear you call for me, but you're not there. You're just an echo. Why did you fall for me? She's just like trying to understand why she was in this situation, why he fell for her, because it feels like he never cared. I climbed a wall. She went through all that effort to touch your shadow, and he gave her a shadow of something. He gave her not even something tangible. And I hear you call for me, but you're not there. You're just an echo. So it's like that calling's like in her mind, or it's like an echo because it's not there anymore. It's like the memory of what it was, which is so interesting. And yeah, I think we sometimes give too much credence for people who never really cared or didn't give us the time and the attention that we deserved. And clearly this person had a huge mark on her. Yeah, so she keeps going back to, do you remember what I said that first time that we met? She's like recounting that memory in her head the whole time. Okay, so the next song I'm going to listen to is Fancy with Iggy Azalea and Charli XCX. So this was like her first #1 Hot 100 hit. This was a mega hit. It was on the top of that chart for fucking weeks. So naturally I have to include it in a Charli XCX retrospective. So yeah, Fancy, let's go. Oh my god. I remember in 2014 when this came out, the music video, because it was Clueless inspired, and then like Iggy Azalea was like in the Cher outfit and they were in school and it was a whole moment. This is like full of so much personality, and this was on the top of the Billboard for like weeks and weeks and weeks. And it's so interesting because like Iggy Azalea at this time was everywhere. Like on my Ariana retrospective, I put Problem in it. And obviously Iggy was there at the same time as well. So Iggy Azalea really said, I'm gonna just make 2014 my year, which is so, so funny. But yeah, I remember listening to this and I was just like, this is it. Back in the day, this was over 10 years ago. Back in the day, loved it. So it's like, you know, drinking, having a good time. Rooftop, like we're bringing 88 back. Hooks in bass hat. She's like, yeah, I got my high heels. I got everything. I'm that bitch. It's all that. Iconic. So it's so interesting. Yeah, like Remember My Name, About to Blow. Like, she did. I mean, obviously she went in a more experimental phase, but that experimental phase introduced her to hyperpop, and that's where we saw her evolve as an artist and grow even further. And so we do remember her name. She is relevant now, and she's had such an amazing career. It's really, really cool. And I'm in the fast lane from LA to Tokyo. You know, when a song has place names in it, I'm about that. I don't know what it is. It's like with Jason Derulo when he puts all these songs, like, I don't know. I just think it's iconic. And it's so 2014. And it just hits me. Oh, that's so... I literally am listening to it and I'm like, that's so fucking quick. I can't even deal. Yeah, like, you know, I got my money. I got my swag. That's what she's saying. I get my money, my swag. And, you know, I'm living my life in the fast lane. Props to you, Iggy. Props to you. That is iconic. I remember hearing that and I was like, yeah, and GGY. It's actually kind of embarrassing at the same time, but like, I don't know, 2014 was a weird year. I don't understand that bit, the make the phone call bit. Like, I don't really know what that's supposed to mean. But yeah, I know, like, trash the hotel, getting drunk, make the phone call, feels so good getting what I want. It's that energy of, like, being a brat, trashing the hotel room, getting everything I want, getting drunk. And it's a really feel-good song. Yes! Oh, that's interesting as well, like Chandelier Swinging. Is that an allusion to like Sia? Because did Sia release Chandelier around about this time? I don't know if that's intentional or not, but it's an interesting note. It's just for such random lines. But it just works. I just love that melody as well. Again, it's so catchy. She's so great at writing pop songs and having these catchy hooks in them. Okay, so the next song I'm going to listen to is Vroom Vroom. So Vroom Vroom is from like that EP that she did, and so that was in 2016. And this was more of an avant-garde Charli. So she's introduced to hyperpop, and she became a lot more experimental and moved away from the mainstream. And I think that this is where we see her like really grow as an artist even further. So yeah, Vroom Vroom. Let's go! Oh my gosh, you cannot go to a gay club without hearing this song. Honestly, this is for the gays. And I know people say that a lot of the time, but one thing I love about Charli is that she's always been like for the LGBT community, and she's always been so supportive of the community. And this is a song that like playing in the gay clubs all the time, and it's so interesting when she went in this experimental side, the main pop realm kind of like distanced themselves from her. But as we know, gay consumers, like when we love somebody, like we love them hard, and like this was really a moment, you know, in the gay community. And I know it's not the mainstream, but we have a lot of love for Charli, so props to you, girl. Oh, it's so interesting you got like that chow chow in the background. It really like adds a lot of drama and tension. Lavender Lamborghini, roll up in a blue bikini, so it's like very visual. Bitches on the beaches looking super cute and freaky. And that's like the kind of brand that she's going for, right? Like kind of like cute, beautiful, but like a little bit edgy. All my friends are princesses, we keep it whipped and creamy, ice cubes on our tongues because we like to keep it freezy. Like it's like kind of silly, kind of tongue-in-cheek. Ah, I love that melody. Yes. I think Charli is like underrated as a vocalist. Like, gorge. And I love that melody, and one thing I love about this era is that she like splices up all of these melodies together and creates something that sounds so like dynamic and different when you hear it. And she's still got those hooks from the conventional pop songs, but they're integrated in such a interesting way, which is really, really cool. I just love that as well. Vroom vroom, bitches know they can't catch me. And in a way, I feel like the pop girls at the time, like the industry, kind of didn't really catch up to what she was doing. And now it's gone full circle, and a lot of artists are integrating hyperpop into their music. And she was kind of like ahead of her time, really, with it. But it's like caught up a little bit now. But whenever anyone does anything experimental, there's always a lot of trepidation. I love the beep beep. Let's go. Yes, and I like how it's changing up in this verse as well. So originally it was lavender, now it's bubblegum pink. I know that she likes songs that are like different colours in her mind, so that can explain that. But it's also like a different side to her. So she's showing like the duality of her and her persona. So she's bossy in the bubblegum pink, speeding, party crashing, which I know she's a party girl and she loves party crashing. But originally it was lavender Lamborghini, so it's like changing up the verse to keep us engaged, and it's so visual, which I think is great. And yeah, people getting loco when I'm pulling up Taking Your Pappy. Charli. Oh, so we've got that background, it's like turning up the volume, again increasing that tension, which ultimately gets released, which is really cool. Yes, and it ends there. Awesome. So the next song I'm going to listen to is 1999. So that's with Charli XCX and Troye Sivan. So I've chosen this song because I feel like this song represents how she's integrating those two things. So originally she was very much in the pop sphere, less of that experimentation. There was obviously a little bit. And then she went through Vroom Vroom. And then later down in her career, she's kind of integrated the avant-garde artistry with other artists and like with mainstream pop to make something that's like uniquely her sound. So yeah, 1999 with Troye Sivan, who I also love, and I've done a Who Is episode on him as well. So yeah, let's go. I love as well the reference to Britney. So I know she's been really inspired by Britney in her career. I just want to go back to 1999, like that nostalgia. And hyperpop is based off that pop nostalgia. So it really makes sense, like this being in like her world, you know? I remember the music video for this as well, and it was like them playing The Sims, and like Troye Sivan had like the macaroni hair with like the JT hair and stuff. Like it was a whole thing. See, it's interesting as well. She mentions this going back because she does it in Brat as well. Like she just wants to go back and press rewind, and she has a lot of love for that nostalgia. And you know, this is just a really great song to illustrate this and play on that nostalgia. I mean, nostalgia is such a huge driving force within marketing, and it makes millions and millions of dollars a year. So completely makes sense to make this song artistically and commercially. Yes. There is sometimes a need to go back to your old neighborhood. I've done that myself, and there's a lot of nostalgia there. There's a lot of happiness and a lot of sadness as well. You could read this song as a way of going back to like a halcyon day within a relationship, or whether it's going back to a specific time in your life. You know, we have a tendency to look to the past, and I think that during her period of looking to the future and like innovating within different music, it's understandable that she'd maybe want a song about reflection and just have like good times, and the things that brought her so much joy when she was younger. I love that. That's like a really nice touch there. And yeah, just like wanting to go back to when you didn't know any better, when you were just having fun, the blissful ignorance of youth, Yes! I love that. Maybe we could do it tonight. Like, maybe, we've always got that nostalgia. We've always got those memories in our head that we can go back to. And Charli has that as well with her career and all the things she's done throughout, all the different references she pulls for her music currently. It shows like the power of memory and the power of remembering happy times. And yeah, I love like the visuals of like playing air guitar on the roof, in the kitchen, up on the table, like we had a beautiful view. It creates such a vivid scene in your mind of all of this going on. Yes! Come on, try. Yes, honey. Love the ad-libs. They're just so dramatic in the best way. They really add to the song. I love the harmonies there on the ad-libs, and what I like about it is not too much. Like, it's not adding like in every single moment and like really stacking it up. It really just like complements it in a nice way. Yes, so the final song I'm going to listen to is Good Ones, and this is from Crash in 2022. Now, I have reacted to Brat and the Brat remix album, which I will link down below. I've not included them because I'm only including 6 songs and I've reacted to all the songs anyway. But I think that Crash is like a good album to end on. It's like her, not obviously her latest 2 albums, but like it's pretty recent in terms of like her artistry. It's like a really solid pop song with good ones, and it's infusing the avant-garde nature that she had with Vroom Vroom with her earlier pop hits as well to create something that's like uniquely hers and commercially successful and amazing. So yeah, we're gonna listen to Good Ones. I wish you gave me a reason, that you were better at leaving, that you got your kicks from seeing me low. I always let the good ones go. It's easier to hate someone than to recognize that you let a good person go, you know. Oh, yes. Yes, so that's self-sabotage. And she talks about that in Brat as well. I can see like immediately her lyricisms are so much more sophisticated from the beginning of her career to now. I love how whenever she does like a pre-chorus, like she always, not always, but like she can go like really, really high in it, and it creates this like really dynamic listening experience because you've got like the lower sort of notes in the verses, and then you've got the pre-chorus, which is always really high. And I just really like the self-awareness, and you know, some people we're just attracted to like people who are not the best for us sometimes, and I think that depends on like your trauma and like what feels familiar to you. And yeah, sometimes what feels familiar, you associate that with feeling safe, and that's not always the case, you know. So it's so great that she's so self-aware, and it's such a common thing and experience that I think a lot of people go through, especially if you've been through an abusive situation before. And it's like, you know, that just hatred for yourself. Like, why can't I just be normal and like a good guy or a good girl? And in reality, you know, or a good person. So catchy. It's like so synthy as well. Yeah, like, you're everything I've spent my whole life fighting, so when I walk away, it's not your fault. It's such a contrast to how you'd expect those lines to go. Because, you know, you'd think you're everything that I've spent my whole life fighting is something so negative. It's like one of these bad guys who you just want to get away from. But in reality, she's saying, like, I've been fighting against you and you're such a good person and you treat me so right and it's not your fault. It's just my own problem, which again, it like creates this contrast in the lyrics, and it's interesting to listen to and to understand the narrative flow there, because you're kind of like, well, this doesn't make any sense. And it shows like the chaos in her own brain when she's like thinking about all of this. Like, it's a chaotic place to be in. Like, you in theory would want somebody who would love you right and treat you right, but like she can't because she's got all of this trauma and it's familiar to her to feel that pain. Oh, I love that synth in the background. Oh, it's all interpolating together. Syncopation. Amazing. So that was it. That was my Who Is series on Charli XCX. What are some of your favourite tracks from Charli? What's your favourite era from Charli? How do you think she's grown as an artist? Like, let me know in the comments what you think, and let me know if there's anyone else you'd like me to do a Who Is episode on, and I can put that on my list. If you like this, then like and subscribe. It actually really helps my channel. It shows me that I'm doing a good job, and if you join, you get to be part of a really cool community that's growing every day, and you get to see me grow and listen to more requests and just continue this journey with me. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. It means the absolute world. And until next time, I will see you in the next video. See you later. Bye. Bye.